What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. I thought I'd give you a long-term kind of an update on what's happening with one of the Honda RL bikes that we have. We have two RLs. This one I think is a 21. The other one is maybe a 22. They're both in that 19 through 24 generation. These bikes are basically all the same, whether you have a 19 all the way through 25, other than some plastic changes, handguard changes, minor things like that. They are essentially the same machine. These bikes have been going pretty strong, very popular in the dual sport light adventure segment. They have some great attributes. There's a few things about them that are famously maybe disliked, not so popular about them. This one is really like a lab rat, and this thing has seen a lot of action. Right now we're up in our mountains outside of Las Vegas, about 50 miles outside of Las Vegas, area called Mount Charleston. There's a ski area, Lee Canyon ski area, and that has a parking lot of about 8,700 feet. And so we're doing some altitude testing, quick shift testing. We've got a new SX1 ECU. We've got some new stuff that's coming. Let me show you a few things. Probably the biggest news is the SX1 controller. This is a LED map switch. So this allows for changing between the two maps. So you got map 1 and map 2, and you have that on a toggle. So effectively those two positions represent what you get with a toggle map switch, but it adds some tricks. It has traction control mode, so you can select this button and add traction control to either map. So once upon a time you needed a traction knob to be able to do that. No longer. You can handle that here. This other button is for quick shift. So we've been testing out quick shift mode on the Honda, and that is pretty cool. It is really fun to just bang up through the gears. It also activates on the downshift as well, and that is going super good. Let's see what else is interesting about this RL. So you'll notice it's got a Graves full titanium with an O2 sensor on there, and that's so we can monitor air fuel ratio just as we go up and down. And then this is a data collection box. So this is a Get SL1 unit. What's happening here is we are capturing all of the ECU parameters. So all that data is being captured in ECU. We're looking at that O2 sensor, and then we have a GPS bug right here so we can see altitude as well as ground speed, and all of that data helps us in the refinement and improvement of the maps. Interestingly, we have a little headlight down here. This is kind of a commando style because you have to remove the headlight here to get all of that equipment mounted, and so just got a little fork mounted bracket. That's a Ruby R4, and that light is every bit as powerful, in fact more so than the stock light in high mode. That's a great light. Plastics mismatch. There's all kinds of weird parts on this thing. It's also starting to act up with that reduction gear issue. About every 10th start or so have an issue with it. You can hear the starter motor spin, but there's no engagement to the engine, no turnover. And the way that we've been able to get past that is by putting it into gear, rolling it forward, and then bumping the motor, getting a little turn of the engine, almost like if you had a broken tooth on a flywheel on a car, manual transmission, and you happen to have the starter gear is spinning in that broken tooth zone. You just bump the car past that. And so effectively that's what we've done, and that will get it started. When that does happen, about every 10th start, typically, sometimes less, sometimes more. It's pretty random. The other thing that's happened on this bike is we have lost, so on the water pump outlet, this pressed in, this is the rubber hose, right? But this little outlet, that's aluminum and that's steel, and so that's pressed in, that's compression pressed in. That blew out doing some high-speed testing and shot all the coolant out all over my leg. It was pretty shocking. I was able to got the bike back to the shop, had to get a ride, and then replace that. So that's a new one. So we're looking at some improvements on that. Now notice we run a thermostat. I'll just point that out. So lots of controversy out there with the thermostat. We're in Las Vegas. We run this bike in the summer, in the heat, in Baja. We never remove a thermostat on any of our bikes. Not our KTMs, not our Hondas. So many people incorrectly believe that there are improvements to be had. And while I would say if I lived in Florida or the tropics, where average ride temperatures never dropped below, say, about 75, then I think you're a candidate. But if you ever ride in any temps below 75, 70, the radiators remove too much heat from the engine. And we know riders who have issues. You know, there is a sweet spot of coolant temperature. About 195 to 210 is about ideal. And when you run below that, you can have coolant temperatures into the 150s, 140s, 130s. The cooling system will strip away too much engine heat. So there's more of a downside really to removing a thermostat than the small gains to be had by removing it in terms of ultimate heat removal and hot riding temperatures. And like I said, we ride in Vegas. It was 120 degrees here not too long ago, and the bike handles it just fine with the thermostat intact. That might be it for this little session, this little update. We have maybe one other thing. We have another one of our RLs where we've done the R cam swap, and that's been mapped, and that bike is amazing. And so we're just building up some inventory to get those kits ready. We're going to start offering full kits, camshaft swap kits with the SX1 ECU map for that. So there's some exciting things. It's going to be a busy summer. Some of the stuff may not hit till fall. We've just got stacks of projects we're trying to work our way through, but I thought I'd give you a quick update on some of the things that are happening, cool things happening with the RL Honda bikes. If you have any questions or comments about anything you've seen here or anything that we do, hit us up below, or better yet, shoot us a call or an email. Contact information will be listed below. Have fun out there. Go out, get some adventure.